What is up, fellow bench warmers? This is your daily fantasy quickie. Hey guys, daily quickie time, and today we just had 4 games on the slate. Tomorrow we'll have a lot more. 10? Is it 10 or
10
11?
games tomorrow. Yes, 10 games tomorrow.
On the slate tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's, I guess, start off the quickie with some injury updates. We didn't talk about some injury updates from yesterday. Anthony Davis was still out. I think he's a couple of weeks.
The report is he's been cleared for more on-court drills and activities, which at first glance is good news for Anthony Davis owners. I don't know, Jeremy, are you still an owner of Anthony Davis? No more?
Just one in the dynasty.
Okay, but they said he should be back in 2.5 weeks. So I was counting it week 14, week 15. So that would be week 16, maybe at the middle of week 16.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe around that time. So yeah, managers have a decision to make, I guess. Like week 16, that is your semi-final week for some, for a lot of quarter-final week for a lot of people. So
yep. And for some,
I don't know.
I guess for a small group of managers, it's probably the semifinals already.
But for some managers,
yeah, for most,
yeah,
I think it's quarterfinals.
But for a lot of managers, that's the last week of the regular season. So it depends really on your league. But if that is the last week of your regular season, then I think Anthony Davis will come back just in time for the playoffs. If you are there in the playoffs, if you make it.
Like I said, when we had this AD1, AD2 debate between Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond, I said that probably moving forward, you'd rather own Andre Drummond because at week 16, if he's coming back at week 16, do you expect him to play full out, 100%?
Yeah, no, I don't expect that. I said Anthony Davis during our debate that time because I was thinking he was coming back already. I was thinking early April. So this one kind of set me back a little bit. Kind of surprised me when I was looking at it. And then, I guess I really... Jeremy's correct. If this is the case, if this is what will happen, you should own Andre Drummond more than Anthony Davis, right? I mean, it's too long wait for managers at this point.
And by the time he starts playing, most likely he will be eased in. And like I said, if the Lakers would win with Andre Drummond, they have no reason to rush Anthony Davis back. So that's the biggest setback here for Anthony Davis owners is that the Lakers were able to sign Drummond. If they were not able to sign Drummond, I think they would have more sense of urgency to play him earlier or get him back earlier.
That's one. And the thing right now is with Drummond also, Davis might not have to play 40 minutes, 30 minutes when he comes back, like Jeremy said. The problem right now is, can he still be traded in fantasy leagues? I mean, assuming your trade deadline is not yet done. So assuming it's April 9th, that's the last day, April 10 here in the Philippines. So that's next week. Do you think there's a deal that could be made right now for Anthony Davis?
I think yes. April 9 is if some leagues have April 9 as the trade deadline.
April 9,
it's probably
yes. That's April 10.
Weeks.
April 10 here.
So that's probably around 2 weeks. That's week 15. Oh no, week 16, middle of week 16 probably.
No. That's
week 15?
Because week 14 will end in April 5.
So that's week 15.
Week 15.
Right?
That's week 15. Yes.
So that's probably the earliest Anthony Davis could come back is the first week. The next week, the following week, which is week 16.
Yes.
And some managers might want to roll the dice on Anthony Davis, especially those that are on top of their leagues, right? If they can buy Anthony Davis.
That's true.
Or maybe DeAndre Ayton, or I mean, if it's going to be that low, right? I'm sure some managers would probably roll the dice.
Would you do that? Anthony Davis for DeAndre Ayton at this point?
If I was in the first place, yeah, I would probably do that. I mean,
Actually,
if I'm getting Anthony Davis, right?
Yes, you're getting Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I would probably do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you are the player who owns Anthony Davis and you're fighting for your playoff life, then letting go of Anthony Davis for a player like DeAndre Ayton won't be too bad, right? And other players you can also use to get Anthony Davis, like maybe a Drummond later on, right? Because he would be playing. Chances are he'll be playing more, so that's something that could entice some managers as well in getting Anthony Davis.
Yes, that's correct.
So I think there would be other players who can be targets for Anthony Davis, and managers would probably want to try getting him, especially if they feel good about their teams right now. All right, moving on to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There's been a small update on Shai. Well, a non-update. I think I'm not sure if it's an update.
He was pictured shooting. He was pictured getting vaccinated and holding Lou Dort's hand. That was posted by our friend Charles too.
Yeah.
And then after that, jumping up and down and making fantasy managers angry that he could run and jump and then he cannot play basketball, which makes them suspicious about his injury.
Yeah.
But then the coach will say that he's ways away. He's not cleared to do any on-court things, but it's just SGA being hard-headed and wanting to shoot, to run, to do those things, but he's loud, so he's ways away according to the coach. And well, yeah, I guess it's a non-update, but for me, still not gonna risk or gamble on SGA compared to AD.
Yeah, well, the SGA thing is probably a tougher one because they don't want to contend.
Yes,
that's the
true.
big thing. And they have young players who are playing well. So why risk the future of your franchise player in SGA? So
do you drop him?
No timetable, right? No timetable.
Still no timetable, but he doesn't seem injured. I mean, I think he can play through this. Do you think all of a sudden there's a chance that all of a sudden they say, okay, come play? I mean,
I'll do a deal with the same deal I'll do with Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Trade him to one of the top managers in the league and let him deal with it. Even for a small, lesser value, maybe who's a good player that you can
Derek
get?
White.
Derek White, yeah.
Derek White.
Yep, maybe, yeah.
Something like that. Maybe even cheaper. Maybe Seth Curry.
That's too cheap.
I'm gonna take it already.
I think that's too cheap. Mike Conley, maybe.
Because I'll gladly take Mike Conley. But my guess.
I just can't believe someone dropped Mike Conley in one league.
Why? I mean, what's the reason?
I don't know.
I mean,
I just saw him in free agent pool and
you should pick him up. Pick Mike Conley up right away.
I'm way down in the waiver, so that's frustrating. Anyway, going back to SGA. So SGA,
he's not coming back. I doubt it. So
maybe he plays a game or two.
Anybody I can get, I'll take at this point. If I'm an owner.
I would think you should try it now because you should try to trade him now.
Agree.
I mean, now's the perfect time. If you wait another week and wait for the diagnosis or the timeline, you might not be able to drop him any longer. So I mean, trade him anymore to any teams because a lot of managers will stay away from him. Now I think the top managers, those in first place or second place who probably have secured their slots at least in the playoffs, they'll probably gladly take him for a very small valued player, right?
Agree.
SGA, we'll see what happens, but trade him now. Try to trade him now if there's still value. Zach Lavine, went down today. Is it today? No, yesterday.
No. Yesterday he didn't go down. He played the whole game, but after the game,
he finished
acknowledged that he might need to miss some games, and he's not really healthy. The ankle is bothering him. He's questionable for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe White is also questionable for tomorrow with the neck issue. So the Bulls might be very undermanned tomorrow because they also don't have, I think, Garrett Temple is not there. I think Valentine. So tomorrow there'll be lots of interesting news that we have to look forward to. And
lots
Lavine,
of players who might step up.
Yes, I think Lavine has not missed a game this year. So that is something to consider. He wants to play, but for him to say that it's not working, it might be something more serious.
Yeah.
I mean, something that bothers him more, and it's not really been normal Lavine for the past few games.
Mm-hmm.
So there. Troy Brown, Thomas Satoransky. I was able to pick up Satoransky after dropping Satoransky. I don't know why people are saying drop Sato. Maybe because it's boring again. A guy who, I don't know,
well,
he looks boring.
He's not as exciting as the other hot free agents right now that have been popping up, like the G League boys and the other, maybe some of the Orlando players. He is not as hot or as exciting as those players, but he is very serviceable.
But among the boring players, like let's say MCW, right? I think Satoransky is the best among them.
Yep.
He's not as handsome as TJ McConnell, who looks like a schoolboy, and then people, I don't know why.
Well,
it's the same thing.
I think TJ McConnell is a little above Sato, or probably ways above Sato in terms of
before.
Yeah, I guess now because of the consistency, maybe that Satoransky would have. Because TJ McConnell, even if he is playing really well and he is ranked quite high in standard leagues, he is not as consistent as maybe a Satoransky.
Yes, that's true. I think when we have this useless debates, Jeremy,
debate.
I think you should have a music already. When we are starting with the useless debate, you cue up music and then like the useless debate thing, because we keep on getting into these kinds of questions.
Useless debate alert.
Yes.
TJ McConnell or Thomas Satoransky?
It's Satoransky right now. Satoransky at this point for me. It's Satoransky.
Yeah, and probably some managers who would vote for McConnell still has that 10 steals game on
their minds. Yeah. That's gone. But tomorrow, by the way, McConnell, I'm guessing, might have a good game because Jeremy Lamb and McDermott are questionable to play. And then they're not yet out. If they're both out, I think he could have a good game, and then this useless debate will turn into a different situation again. But in run, I still Satoransky.
All right.
For one. Right. Yes.
All right. So there, Satoransky will probably post another poll to see which player would you rather own, Thomas Satoransky or TJ McConnell. All right, moving on to other injury updates. Victor Oladipo will still not play tomorrow.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Is he injured?
With an illness. No, I think it's an illness. I'm not sure what kind of illness it is. Mm-hmm. So he's not ready to suit up yet. So, and then Kendrick Nunn is out also. So the Heat again is, I still don't believe they won the trade deadline, and they look depleted everywhere.
But I think they are maybe winners if you look into the playoffs. Maybe when the playoffs start, they'll hit their stride and get everyone back healthy, and they'll probably be better than how they are right now. So there, Oladipo is probably out tomorrow. Who else is out? Jaylen Brown is questionable.
Jaylen Brown is questionable. I'm guessing he might be out because of his hip. Bradley Beal, although they don't have a game tomorrow, we got that right. We thought that he doesn't look right, so he didn't play today. I'm guessing some more games also. Paul George
was once again
we'll talk about
today.
Paul George later. Yeah. We'll talk about Paul George later.
Yeah. And John Wall will be out tomorrow. So that means KPJ.
Have they declared it? I think it's just questionable. Just questionable.
Are you going to bet that he's going to play?
No. His knees are big right now. It's swelling. But
I will bet that he will not play tomorrow.
I think he might play. You know why? I think he knows that it's a matter of time before Houston shuts his season down, turns the lights off, and he'll probably want to play as much as he can.
Why?
I don't think he's...
Why would he want to do that?
He hasn't played for 2 years. So every chance he can play right now, of course, it's like heaven for him. Like me, I really want to play basketball already. So I think
is he on expiring?
He can inject... No. He has 1 or 2 years left. He has a long 2 more years, I think. So I think he just wants to play. And if he can play even, a little 70% of his conditioning or of his health, he's gonna try to play. But even if he plays, I think he's not gonna be his usual self. So KPJ owners should be ready for a KPJ explosion tomorrow. Yeah. It's against Brooklyn, guys. So I'm waiting for the FBW Idol post for KPJ tomorrow.
Let's see. Hopefully, KPJ owners will probably rejoice tomorrow. Be happy tomorrow after the game. All right. We have 4 games today, and if we have few games, we'll go through each game again. First off is the Washington Wizards versus the Charlotte Hornets, and Rozier once again showing.
Rozier.
Just an update. So we posted a poll question about Rozier and Chris Paul, and
so
as expected, the results were mostly on Chris Paul. Probably, and probably Rozier just probably got half of what Chris Paul got in terms of. I was actually surprised. There were still a lot who were considering Rozier because of the rest. But I then looked into the averages for the season, and they weren't far off. Like Rozier,
they're not far off.
Ranked 28, and Chris Paul was ranked 26.
The thing with Rozier's image is that he's inefficient.
Yep.
The thing with Chris Paul's image is that he's a very efficient player, which is true. For a point guard, he's really efficient, and he won't really hurt you anywhere. Rozier will have games where he really hurts you, and it sticks to fantasy managers' mind.
Yep.
It's like, hey, I got 2 out of 14, something like that.
Having said that, this year I don't think he's had a really bad shooting game as much as before. If you compare it to previous years, and in fact, he was averaging 1.9 turnovers per game, which is quite low considering that Chris Paul, being an efficient player, was averaging 2.3.
Yes.
So
that's true.
The field goal aren't far off. Like Chris Paul, I think was 48%, and then he was average. Rozier was around 47. So because it wasn't really far off. I think the free throws were there was disparity on the free throws and the assists. That's the only thing. And for Rozier's side, his advantage is the scoring and the threes.
Yes, the many times we talked about Rozier, we were talking about the field goal. I think that's the key. 48%, he has been hovering around 47, 48, 49 for the whole year.
Yep.
And that was not really his average for his career. So that's why people, and until now, people are still waiting for the shoe to drop in the sense that it will go down. But it hasn't. It hasn't gone down. We're 40-something games, 46 games into the season. So right now, he's a buy. He's my buy for this game.
If you look
Terry Rozier, I think he's a clear buy.
Yeah, today he did 27.7 rebounds and 4 assists. Just like Chris Paul numbers on a good day. Right? And he had 5 3-pointers. And he only had 2 turnovers and 1 block. So those are solid numbers.
Actually, that Paul should be that poll we had, Rozier or Chris Paul, should have opened. What we want to accomplish there is we want to open the eyes of fantasy managers to look not at the name value of players, but at the stats that they produce. Yep. And this year, plus the risk that Chris Paul will incur going forward, Rozier is the right pick. I'm confident of that. I know a lot of people chose Chris Paul, but I'm confident that Rozier is the right pick. He's my buy for this game.
All right.
For this game, he's my buy.
Rozier, definitely. And he didn't start well, but ended up 10 of 20 from the field. So that's 50% already.
My sell for this game is still Russell Westbrook. He had another 14 assists, 15 rebounds, and 22 points. But he's still my sell. Still my player that I think you should trade. Another buy for me is Gordon Hayward. It's a buy low. Okay, Rozier is a buy that you should really go for. Hayward is a buy low, but
what type of value would you get for Rozier? I don't think he's gonna get really good value. I mean,
no, you should buy him.
But what type of player would you be willing to sell for a Rozier? Would you sell your Ayton for Rozier?
No, well, if I need a guard, if I have a lot of centers, I'll go for that. That's fair.
John Collins.
If I have, again, if I have a lot of big man, I could do that. But I prefer John Collins. Injury aside, I prefer John Collins over Terry Rozier.
DeJounte Murray.
Someone like DeJounte, someone like Jeremy Grant, all of those are easily Rozier can easily trump them. So I'm choosing.
Now, if you have Chris Paul, would you trade your Chris Paul for Rozier?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I will.
Since the poll was about Chris Paul,
I will do that.
All right, so there.
Well, we voted for it, so we should put our money where our mouth is, right?
So Washington, Charlotte.
So
another player, Rui Hachimura, played well again.
He's not a sell for me because again, Bradley Beal is out again, and he's been getting a lot of the scoring of Bradley Beal, and the Wizards lost again. So you know the drill. But the drop for me there is Daniel Gafford. Sadly, he played so well, and he's gonna be out for 10 days.
Well, 10 days is not too bad. I mean,
but you won't wait for Gafford. I mean,
you probably drop him.
You should not be waiting for Gafford. If you're waiting for Gafford, you're just showing off. Just keep Gafford.
You'll probably drop him.
So good.
You'll probably drop him and wait for him to clear or wait for him to come back. But keep an eye on him. If he comes back after 10 days, he could be center that can be used. All right, Philadelphia and Denver.
And I have a ad in the game. Jerome Robinson. Robinson, if Beal misses some more time, deep league alert. Jerome Robinson could be a steals guy for you.
All right,
that's it.
Philly and Denver. Let's talk about Aaron Gordon. So it's been the second game of Aaron Gordon. He played well in the first game. Not too bad. I mean,
Aaron Gordon,
serviceable, but today, let's see.
I think he had 20 something minutes again today.
He just had 6 points.
Aaron Gordon's real life value with Denver right now is higher than his fantasy or stats value with Denver. So I have starred on him. I think he's the easy, clear sell here. Not drop, but sell. Not to the drop level, but it's hard to sell him now. So maybe time it until April 9 or 10. Maybe you can package or whatever. But he's a big loser here. So there. For me, Aaron Gordon is a big sell.
And Aaron Gordon, a big sell.
I'll add someone for you. Ben Simmons.
I was about to say Ben Simmons. He hasn't been performing well.
Disappointing. His numbers actually fell when Embiid got injured. 14.7. This is real numbers. I computed it. 14 point something, 0.7 rebounds, 6.7 assists, 1.1 steal, no 3-pointers as usual. I mean, he's shooting 48% from the field, which is not usually his field goal percentage, and 5 turnovers a game since Embiid went out. So I don't know. It's a sell for me because when Embiid comes back, then where's the upside, right? I mean, Embiid is out and he's not doing.
No, again,
nothing.
This could be another case of how Boston was without Kemba, Boston without any of those big 3 or 4. This could be a case wherein Simmons plays better with Embiid there, and the system makes him look better when Embiid is there. But because when you look into the field goal, for example, when he is averaging at around 50. Right?
More than
more than 50. Yeah. So with Embiid there, so I mean, this could be a case of Embiid's value that it opens up a lot for players like Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that is possible. That is really possible. But even when Embiid comes, though, I think the field goal and everything would improve. But the counting stats, I don't think will. So the upside for me is limited right now. There are lots of like Rozier. Oh, that's a good. Let's go back to our favorite.
Ben Simmons for Rozier.
Yeah, that's an easy trade for me. Something like that. Because he's trending down. He's trending down in the wrong direction.
So there, Ben Simmons.
My buy here is Jamal Murray.
Yeah, Jamal Murray has been hot. He's been shooting well, playing well.
50%, 45%, 90%. Yep. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so hopefully he can sustain it. Hopefully he can continue that role because I have some Jamal Murrays.
For the season, he has career high in points, 3-point percentage, assists, and field goal percentage. Career highs for the whole season, not just since February, for the whole season. So I think the bubble opened something in him, and he's now a different guy.
So who would you rather have now, Donovan Mitchell or Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray.
We've debated this last season after the bubble experience, and we felt that these two players would get a boost.
What did they say before?
Well,
you didn't expect before.
You didn't. I expected him to go at around 30, at least 30 plus, third round.
Yeah,
value.
You were the one who was high on Jamal Murray. I remembered it. You were the one who was high on Jamal Murray.
Not really on not really on Donovan Mitchell because I don't like the percentages, but yeah.
And I'm impressed with Jamal. I'm impressed with his durability. I mean, when I see him play, I get worried.
He battled through lots of injuries.
Yeah. So it's a Jamal for me. Jamal right now.
All right, Orlando Clippers. Well, this one was another bummer for the Clippers. They lost the game. Paul George was out. It was a come from behind game, in fact. So I think Clippers were leading most of the way, and in true Clippers fashion, they lost that lead and lost the game. So Paul George was out.
I read that. I saw a tweet when they lost, and the person was saying that from all daily fantasy or fantasy managers to the Clippers, it's like, we're happy that you lost because we hate you. Because the Clippers is a team that after in one hour before they're gonna say, oh, this guy's not playing. Like today they did that again with Marcus Morris.
The way I observed it is that really there's not much Clippers players that are really fantasy DFS worthy.
Yes, but Marcus Morris was yesterday and today. So he burned a lot of managers again, and it's again. I mean, it's okay for him to miss games, but for 1 hour before for the last game of the slate, and you do that, and a lot of managers are really irritated with the Clippers right now.
All right, Paul George was out.
I mean, Paul George missed him. Yeah.
Paul George was out. Terrence
and for me, he's my sell.
Paul George.
Yeah, he's a sell for me. How
can we sell Paul George?
How about for you? Don't you think he's a sell? When he comes back.
I feel like it's a hard sell because he hasn't been playing well, and most likely, if I own Paul George, I would want a good value player that's around the second round, which is not feasible at the moment.
I will trade. I'll do this. I will trade if I own Ben Simmons. I'll look for the Paul George manager, and I'll try to trade or make a offer. I would like.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah. Actually, both of them are sell for me, right? But
yeah,
I think I still like Paul George more than Ben Simmons, and maybe the Paul George manager is worried about injuries of Paul George. So, so maybe they would want to get Simmons. So I'll do that.
All right. Yep. And then let me look at the Orlando Magic logjam of centers. Wendell Carter Jr. came off the bench once again. Kem Birch started.
Yeah.
Well, we all expect Wendell Carter Jr. to start at one point.
That's still what I believe will happen. That's still what I believe would happen, but I hope it happens sooner. But because right now, all three of them are playing 20 minutes a game, almost around 20 minutes, and that is not really fantasy good for fantasy. So I hope that Birch will. I'm guessing Birch will be the one who will have to give way.
Right.
So right now my ad in this game is Mo Bamba.
Mm-hmm.
Mo Bamba, Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann. These three are my ads.
Michael Carter Williams, if he's still there.
Yes, he's a low end ad. Although he had a good game today.
All right, last game on the slate: Phoenix and Atlanta. And not so good news for John Collins owners because he went down. I'm hoping it's not a serious injury because we have John Collins in one of our leagues, the Roto League.
Yeah.
And
our league that we said that we didn't want to get unlucky. We've gotten unlucky every game. Every day. Mitch Robinson, now John Collins. It's just, I don't know. But I saw the injury. It did not look that bad, but I think it's still going to be a week at least. Mm-hmm. He could not play through it. So it might be a week.
Yeah, and Phoenix won this game. Who performed here?
Bogdanovic. Yeah, 22 points, 4 steals. I think he's a buy for me in a package deal or anything. Try to get him. Again, yours truly made another bonehead move. I dropped him just before this game in one of our leagues. One of our leagues with Jeremy, I dropped him, and my opponent.
Who did you pick up?
Marcus Morris, because it's like I panicked. I was down 2-7 after one day or something, and then.
But you're first in those leagues.
No, because I saw a write up that his knee was acting up supposedly, and he's not gonna play. And then the next days I was seeing why is there no out or questionable tag beside his name? But when I click the Roto World write up, it's like he's not gonna play. And then right now they said it's a clerical error. I mean, whoever wrote that blurb in Roto World, you should be fired. So I mean, you cost me Bogdanovic.
So
should be fired. I'm gonna write NBC Sports.
Had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. From the Phoenix side, there's really no ad on the Atlanta side. Probably no ad, right? From the Atlanta side?
No ad.
It's pretty much the same team.
No ad for me.
Yeah, and the Phoenix side, it was...
In the Phoenix side, it's Torrey Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Torrey Craig still. Dario Saric, maybe for deeper leagues. And Jay Crowder, if somehow he's in your waiver wires, I think you should pick him up. He had a 0 of 9 the other day, but overall, he's a good player. So you should pick him up. He's a winning player for your fantasy teams.
Yep, all right. Those are the 4 slates that we have. The internet connection is so bad, so we'll end it right here.
Yes.
We got through it, and hopefully that was helpful for you guys. But yes, we'll see you again tomorrow for another daily fantasy quickie. Bye guys.